You want to design your business from the beginning around your lifestyle.
Yep.
So you need to have a vision for what you want your life to look like. Figure out what you want your life to look like. How many hours a day do you want to work? How many hours a week do you want to work? Do you want to travel? Do you have kids? Do you want to homeschool? And then design a business around that. And you should be able to run your entire business from a laptop and a phone.
Yep.
Like you don't need offices. And I've been preaching that for the last 10 years, right?
Yep.
Now COVID has forced everybody to go into that, but like
100%.
You don't need that.
Helping hardworking real estate investors, agents, and entrepreneurs grow a better business, mindset, and future. This is the Carrot Cast Podcast. Now here's your host, Trevor Mock.
What's up, y'all? I've got a returning Carrot Cast guest, but Joe hasn't been on for a while, so I'm excited to catch up with Joe. We're a couple weeks out from hopefully getting together at a mastermind that we've been in together for years and years and years. And I'll reintroduce those of you who have been with the Carrot Cast for some time to Mr. Joe McCall. But before I do, guys, before I introduce Joe, so the phase of the market we're in right now in real estate, we're in a heavy seller's market. Inventory's lower, and we're having some investors and agents come to us saying, we're struggling to find some of the right leads. Many of the clients are wanting to scale their businesses, and one of the things that Joe is so amazing at is systems. And we talked about it right before this. He loves systems, processes, being able to scale up the business, work from anywhere you want, and I think it was the last time that we had Joe on. We'll link it up in the show notes. I could be wrong. I'm either mixing this up or one of our conversations at a mastermind a few years ago, where him and his family, they hopped in an RV and they did a bunch of traveling. He was still able to run his businesses, do deals, run his other businesses as well from wherever the heck he wanted to be. So if any of you guys and gals are interested in running a real estate business or other types of businesses from anywhere, learning how to build the right systems to give you the flexibility and the freedom like we talk about here at Carrot, and find out how he's doing that, we're going to let you know in this episode. So Mr. Joe McCall, welcome back in the Carrot Cast, man.
Trevor, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Dude, I was trying to think of the last time that you were on, and we'll pull it up in the show notes, but it was probably at least 2 to 3 years ago. I'm guessing it was a while ago.
Yeah, so I'm going to look it up myself now, but Cool. It's been a while. It's so cool to see your company grow and what you guys have been doing. Man, it's just been like, I remember back in the days when you were doing, before you started Carrot, what you were doing then, and then how we bought Carrot, and then the growth pains, the good growth pains, not bad, but the good growth pains and how you navigated through that. Now you have this huge company and you're still growing. And, those of you guys that don't know Trevor, all you do is you see him on podcasts and videos and stuff like that. But when you talk to him in person, he loves his people. He loves his tribe. He loves his customers. He loves his employees. And like, he's committed, he's dedicated. And that's what I love about hanging out with you, Trevor, once in a while when we do. And I love to see what you're doing with Carrot. The passion and what you guys do, and your passion for excellence and just taking care of people. It's amazing.
Dude, that it means a lot big time, man. And you've, like you said, you've seen it from the start. You've been a Carrot customer yourself I was literally looking before this 7 years ago is when you came aboard Carrot.
And that probably I probably had an account before that, but I just, I get new accounts with new emails and stuff.
That's right.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, and you're still getting some leads in there. I know most of your marketing is offline. We're going to talk about some of that stuff and talk about your systems. But before we dive into that stuff, I want to introduce you really well to people. And guys, here's the deal too. I've known Joe for years and years and years, well before Carrot came into be. I've been running a mastermind with my former business partner, Patrick Riddle. And you guys have heard my business story. You've heard my story of where, we had built a good, solid business. I kind of got myself trapped into a role I wasn't passionate about. Patrick took that business. I went a separate route, which eventually became Carrot. And the funny thing is both businesses are doing insanely well now once we found our roles. Like once Patrick stepped out from behind in front of the camera to behind the camera, and he's like, man, I'm going to run the business to be the marketer. He's like the best out there. And I stepped out from behind the scenes into in front, and we kind of swapped roles, and it worked. But Joe was through there during the whole process. All the stories I've told, Joe was there during most of them, which is really cool.
Isn't that crazy?
So Joe, why don't you introduce yourself to the crowd? Who are you? Where do you live? Kind of what do you do? Because you do real estate, but you also train other people how to do it, and a lot of other cool things.
Well, if you're watching video now, I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan from St. Louis.
I love it.
And I've been in St. Louis since 2002. So I'm not from here. My wife is, but I love St. Louis. I love the Cardinals. I love my family. Got a wife, 4 kids, a couple dogs. We live in a great little community. I started to play a lot of golf lately.
Oh, really?
Trevor.
Cool.
Oh man, you got to come out here and play sometime.
I'd love to, man.
But I've been playing a lot of golf lately. I just love business. I love the freedom that it gives me, allowing me to work from anywhere. 2 times in the last 8 or 9 years, 3 times. Well, twice we went to Europe with my wife and our 4 kids to Europe for 2 to 3 months at a time. Twice working from there while just living in Prague and traveling around Europe. And then we also went on a 3-month RV trip where we just did an RV for 3 months and went all throughout the northwestern corner of the United States. We even stopped in Seattle and took a cruise up to Alaska. And so we've had a lot of crazy, awesome adventures. But when I was a professional student for 3 years, like from 2006 to 2009, I just bought a lot of courses. I bought a lot of books, bought a lot of coaching and boot camps and all of that stuff. And it finally wasn't when the market crashed. I lost everything. I was on the verge of bankruptcy. I really decided, you know what, I'm going to start taking this business seriously and not treat it like a hobby. And I was going to, so I bought Chris Chico's course, mutual friend of ours. And at the time he called it Absentee Owner Profits. And I started wholesaling and started making a lot of money just doing wholesaling. And the crazy thing was, I remember I was at a point where I was like, I'm going to stop questioning things. I'm going to stop changing things. I'm going to buy Chris's course. I'm just going to do what he says to do. And I'm not going to change anything. And that's when I started doing deals. But then fast forward a year or so, and I was getting tired of throwing away leads that didn't have any equity. So I started doing lease options, and I started flipping or selling or, wholesaling lease option deals. And that's what allowed me to quit my job finally in 2009. I was a civil engineer working on big power plants and stuff like that. And I was tired of traveling, and I didn't see a future in that. It was a good, stable job. I could have a job as long as I was willing to travel anywhere in the world. And it paid well for an engineering job, but still I was paycheck to paycheck. And I didn't want to work doing that until I was 65, 70. I wanted to work for myself. So I started doing lease options and wholesaling. And within a couple of years, I had people starting to ask me, hey, will you teach us how to do what you're doing? I started getting invited to boot camps and speaking at boot camps and workshops like Wendy Patton. Do you remember Wendy Patton?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She was one of the first ones that, started inviting me to her events. I started speaking there. And then I created my own course in 2011-ish called Wholesaling Lease Options, and just started teaching people how to do it. Then I started realizing, man, I like teaching a lot. I love it. And so I started a podcast, and I started doing some YouTube videos. And I really, I don't do it necessarily for the money, although the money's great. I love the publishing business of teaching and coaching, and I sell software, and I do done-for-you marketing services. And the money's really, really good. It's awesome. I like doing it just because I love helping people. And, I have this, I've always wanted to grow up to be a teacher, right? I've always thought it'd be cool to be able to teach at a college or even a community college, teaching business or teaching math and science and stuff like that. But now I get to do it as an investor. I get to teach people business. I just had coffee this morning with a friend, teaching him about real estate. He wants to get started in it. That kind of stuff really jazzes me, and I get excited about that. And so probably we still do deals, but I do deals through partnerships that I have, either with some friends or students, or even my 2 sons who are 17 and 15.
That'd be a cool one to talk about on this, man. How you're doing deals with your sons. We'll do that here in a bit, but I don't want to stop you now. Go for it. Well,
I was just saying, we still do deals, but my passion, I'm spending 99% of my time on the podcast, on teaching and coming up with new stuff. I'm constantly creating new courses, doing coaching calls, doing podcasts, YouTube videos. I really love that. I enjoy it, and it honestly pays really well.
And dude, and you're really good at it too. That's one thing about you that I noticed years and years and years ago before we became to know each other really well is the training you put out. It's just, you make it easy. You make it simple. You make it easy, the way you walk people through it. And I think that's one of the big things I want to talk about on here is how do you make a business more easy? Now you talk about systems and you're still a part of deals, but that's the thing is you built your business in a way that gave you the luxury to not have to do every part of a deal. Now you can be involved in the part of the deals that you want to, that gives you energy, that helps you do the things you want to do, and then you can put your energy in the other part of your business, which is teaching, which really amplifies and creates that energy. So let's take it back a bit and let's talk about that transition. So you started to do lease options, and before we go on too far, Joe has a lot of information about this online, y'all. Videos, courses. You got a book, WLObook.com. Pretty sure. So wholesaling lease options, WLObook.com. I don't make any money from it. Just go grab the darn book, because you guys are probably
like this.
There we go. Because I know there's a whole bunch of people in the background going, what the heck is wholesaling lease options? I've heard of Sub 2 because Pace is pushing that really hard and blowing that up. I've heard of creative finance because Pace is doing that and other people are doing that. But what the heck is wholesaling lease options? Joe's probably one of the only people you'll see out there teaching it.
And it's the same color as a carrot.
There we go. I wasn't even
we
planned.
Put this book on your website.
We should put it on there.
Call it the carrot version.
So why don't you in like a couple sentences describe what wholesaling lease options is and why isn't it mainstream? Like, why are most people just doing the traditional wholesaling a house contract?
Well, there's a million different ways to make money in real estate, right? Mm-hmm. And they all work. They're all really good. There's tax liens, there's short sales, there's wholesaling, there's the BRRRR strategy, there's rehabbing, buy and hold, lease options, wholesaling lease options, subject to owner financing, contract for deed, land, and then there's vacant land, there's houses, there's apartments, there's multifamily. So there's a million ways to make good money in real estate. This is one thing that I started doing in 2009. It works in any market, but it works especially well when the market is in a down market, when it's a buyer's market. Basically find a seller who wants to sell their house but can't and is open to doing a lease option. There's not a lot of equity. There's not a lot of cash flow in it. So I just basically get it under contract to lease option, where I'm the tenant buyer with the right to assign the contract to somebody else. I find a tenant buyer who wants to live in the house, and I just sell my contract to the tenant buyer, and then I'm done and I'm out of the deal. It's a real simple strategy. It's like wholesaling, but instead of wholesaling a contract to an investor, I'm wholesaling the contract to a tenant buyer who's going to live in the house.
I gotcha.
Cool. So it's just one little niche within a lease option strategy.
Yep.
And it's great. But today we're doing all kinds of deals. We're doing vacant land deals with my kids. We're doing regular traditional wholesaling in Alabama. Occasionally I'll do a lease option deal. And so we're constantly, I'm just looking for deals. And pretty soon I'm going to start investing in big syndications, like putting my money into big multifamily projects or mobile home parks, or, I want to start investing and diversifying and start buying more long-term buy and hold assets. Yep. You were going to ask something. I want to answer this before I forget too. Yeah. Because it was really important. You asked, how do you set up the businesses so that you can do deals without being involved with it, right? Real simple. Because we wanted to travel in an RV for 3 months. And I was like, and I had an acquisitions manager. I had an assistant. I had a disposition team. I was like, and even with that team, which I thought was the key to freedom, I'm still working too much. I'm still the bottleneck. I'm still involved. And I'm only netting 40% of the deal anyway. So why? I thought I was supposed to be making more money, but I'm making less and spending more time making less. So I heard somebody, this is the strangest thing. I heard somebody talking about this in my office, because I shared an office with about 2 or 3 other guys. And he was talking to somebody else down the hall. And he said, you need to make a list of everything you do and just ask yourself a real simple question. How can I do none of this? How can I get someone else to do it all for me? And I thought, that is brilliant. So I wrote down all the steps to do a deal. And I said, how can I do none of this? And that just started forcing me to ask bigger, better questions, and started thinking, all right, well, I can have this software do this. I can have this system do that. I can have this assistant do that. This virtual assistant do that. I can maybe partner with other people to do that. And I just kind of wrote a list, and I said, and then the next column was who or what can do all of this. And so pretty soon I was like, dang, I'm not doing anything. except managing the team, kind of touching, coming in a little bit and seeing how it's going. But they're doing all the work. And I'm still only netting 30 to 40% of the deal, right? Yep. But I'm not doing anything. And this is what allows people now the freedom to go travel what they want for months at a time. I was still working while we were traveling, but only 3 hours a day. Or do what you're really passionate about, like teaching and coaching and creating courses and selling books and that kind of stuff. Make sense?
Dude, so I love it. And one thing that I want to drill down into people too is the stated mission of Carrot is help real estate professionals. This is a new... Bear with me here because we just changed our stated mission like 2 months ago. I've got
the old one stuck in my mind. Your mission statement, dude, Trevor.
The old one is add humanity to business and help people save time for the things that matter. We love it, but we're like, that's more of a core value now, add humanity to business. So what we want to help you do is create businesses that unlock freedom and help you make a greater impact. And the cool thing is that Joe talked about here is he had a business that made money, but did not give him freedom. When you don't have freedom, y'all, you can't make the impact you want to make. And so he was able to get freedom with better systems and getting the right people. And then what happened? He's able to make a great impact because he has the time to educate and do the things he loves to do. So what Joe's talking about is exactly what we want you guys to do, is find ways to pull yourselves out as much as you can. So Joe, you talk about the systems. Let's kind of lay out for people, what are some of those systems? Because if people remember, if you've been in the industry for 5, 6, 7 years, you guys remember when Podio started to really come in the market and that Podio craze. Joe was one of the original guys in that, really driving that into people's businesses. He's not using Podio today for those same things, but what are those core systems that you use for the real estate business?
Well, I like to look at it as there's 3 keys to success in this business: marketing, automation, and delegation. Okay. And I borrowed that from somebody, I don't even remember who, but I thought that's so good, right? Because we're not in the real estate investing business. We're in the marketing business. So marketing is the foundation of everything. And when I was getting started, I was going through this vicious up and down cycle. And I thought, I need to find some way to get the marketing done for me in spite of me. And it's not that I'm lazy. I just want to be smart. And so how can I get the marketing done for me in spite of me? And there's a lot of different types of marketing you can do. But for me, I thought I need to hire a VA. I got to get a VA to do the marketing for me. Right now we have 6 VAs working for us doing outbound cold calling all day, every day. And that's how we can do 5, 7 deals a month without any direct mail. Yep. Now, how long will cold calling work? Who knows? Maybe just a couple more months, maybe 6 months, 10 months, a year. So I've always believed, all right, now system number 1, foundation to everything is marketing. So you got to automate out. And sometimes the best automation is a good virtual assistant. Because you can build a software and that does this and that, but like sometimes you just need human eyeballs, some human intelligence to look at that and say, this is the best way to do it, or I'm going to do it. So sometimes there is not a software or an automation that you can do to do this stuff. You just need to get a good virtual assistant. Cool. So get a good VA to do your marketing and then report on the numbers. Reporting is key to all of this. You've got to have some method or matrix or metric to track your scorecard. Like, all right, so our goal, if we want to make X amount of money a month, we need to do these daily activities to get the number of leads in so that we can make 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a month. So, if you look at it, it's like typical, all right, we need 10 leads a day. How are we going to get 10 leads a day? Well, we need to send 2,000 postcards a week. We need to do 4 hours of cold calling a day. We want to send 500 texts a day. So you got to get it down to where these are the 4 things that we're going to do every day. And all right, who's going to do them? Right? Who's going to send out the texts? Who's going to make the calls? Who's going to send out the direct mail? So you can write it on a napkin. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you have these 3 or 4 things that you do every day, every week. Now you need to figure out, all right, who's going to do this? Because I'm not doing any of this. I got to get someone else to do it. So get a good virtual assistant, $4 or $5 an hour. And they do that for you. And then your goal is, all right, well, I've got to talk to 5 sellers a day. Well, for me, I don't like talking to sellers, so I'm going to get someone else to do it. So I'm thinking, who can do it? Well, maybe I could have a VA like pre-screen the leads, or I could partner with a local wholesaler. There's a lot of wholesalers out there that they're really, really good with the seller on the phone or with a seller in person, face-to-face, but they're not good at managing all these incoming leads, right? Yeah,
or creating them too.
They just manage by Post-it notes, and they're like running around with a chicken with their head cut off because they're horrible admin. So like, what if though I found a guy or girl who all they want to do, they just want to be in their truck, driving around town, looking at houses and meeting with sellers and doing deals, right?
Yep.
So what if I say, all right, I'm going to do the leads, I'm going to bring them in, I'll pre-screen them and I'll give them to you, and let's just split the deal 50-50. And if you know what you're doing, and there's not a wholesaler out there that will say no to that, unless they're already spending tons and tons of money on marketing and they're getting enough of their own leads. But so just be thinking about like marketing automation, delegation. So when it comes to selling your deals, well, if you're doing lease options, who can you get to sell your houses? How about a realtor, right?
Yep.
Like just get a realtor to do it. Yeah, you'll pay a little bit more, but they're going to do everything for you, right? Yep. And they're going to make sure you do it above board. So you're not going to get in trouble with the real estate commissions for doing unlicensed brokering without a license activity. So just outsource, and figure out, if I want to do deals, this is who I have to, either the system or the person that I got to give this to do it for me. And then this is important to make this all work. You can't just be an absentee owner. You can't just say, all right, I'll talk to me if there's a problem, or I'll pop in once a month to see how things are going. Yeah. Like, especially at the beginning, you need to be involved every day. So you need to find the one or two or three people that are the pin, the hinges or whatever. And you need to be talking to them every single day. Yep. Just every day. A text, Skype, WhatsApp, phone call, Zoom. How's it going? Let's look at the scorecard. Show me the numbers. Where are we at? All right. Because you've got to be involved. You don't want these people that are doing this work for you to not even know who you are. Yep. You can't just think that these VAs that are working for you in the Philippines are never going to need your help, right? Just like a normal employee, you need to talk to them every single day. And eventually, the better they get, you can talk to them once a week or something like that, right? Yeah. So, but there's got to be that daily communication. That's the real difference maker in somebody who's successful and somebody who's not. The communication is real important. Did that answer the question?
Dude, that was so good, man. So I want to kind of reverse and break it down for people, really quick steps, because what Joe walked through, guys and gals, is a master class in going from working and busy in real estate to freedom and impact in real estate. And I know a lot of people like that'll come to Carrot Camp. Keith Sant is a good example. Is one of our clients up in Tacoma. He came to Carrot Camp year one. He ended up doing 6 figures. Mostly, bandit signs and hustling. Some of those deals came from Carrot while he was growing his momentum. Almost all of his deals come from Carrot now. But he came in, he did his first $100,000 month, like the month right before Carrot Camp. And he said, man, I made more money this last month than I ever have in a year. And I was miserable because I didn't have time to do anything. I was on the calls all the time. I was working almost 7 days a week. And he said, check the box. I did the 6-figure month, but I don't want to ever have it be like that again. And so at Carrot Camp, we walked him through at a high level some of those things that you'd walk through. You went through it at a much deeper level there, which is awesome. He went back and executed a lot of that. So he's doing deals in Texas with a partner now. His evergreen marketing is caught up. So well over half of his deals just come to him from SEO now. And that took some time, but now he's working about half that time. He's working about half that time and doing, 6 to 8 deals a month. And so guys, anybody listening to this, you can make that transition from busy working to freedom and impact. And
you know what? This is important, Trevor. Yeah. We're not talking about hiring a huge team and spending thousands and thousands of dollars in overhead. You can structure this with a $3 or $4 or $5 an hour virtual assistant, right? And then on the other side, like a realtor, you only pay them if the deal sells, right? Yep. With a partner who's wholesaling, the wholesaler, you only split the profits after the deal sells. Yep. So you're not talking about getting an office and hiring a bunch of people. You need to go lean and mean in this, right? Like, here's the thing: we go to a lot of masterminds, not the main one, not that one, but the other ones, Trevor. Yeah. A lot of guys, they brag about how many deals they're doing, and they're out there talking about how awesome their business is and how much money they're making. Here's the thing: when anybody explains or brags about how many deals or how much money they're making, you just need to cut that number in half, right? And then you're probably more realistic about where they're really at. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. So don't think that, well, if I want to be 100 deals a month or 100 deals a year, I've got to have this huge operation. No, because you might get that huge operation. Just like that guy, you're making 100 grand a month, but your expenses are 99 grand a month. And then you're miserable. And then it's just a beast that gets bigger and bigger, and you have to feed it more and more every single month. Yep. You want to design your business from the beginning around your lifestyle.
Yep.
So you need to have a vision for what your life wants, what you want your life to look like. I was just talking to a lady yesterday. She's working this morning, 80 hours a week. She's working 80 hours a week. Now she's not in real estate, but that's crazy. Who wants to do that? No. That doesn't sound like
it's
any
not
fun.
Sustainable. No.
So design a lifestyle. Like Brent Daniels, great example, TTP, right? Yep. He takes Mondays and Fridays off. He does a little bit of, he does a podcast, I think on Friday or something like that. But the guy only works 3 days a week. He's so focused during the 3 days, and he's really high energy, right?
Oh yeah.
He's so high energy, and just like, he probably needs those 4 days to rest.
He probably does.
But anyway,
I love it.
It can be done. So you figure out what you want your life to look like. How many hours a day do you want to work? How many hours a week do you want to work? Do you want to travel? Do you have kids? Do you want to homeschool? What do you want to do? And then design a business around that. And you should be able to run your entire business from a laptop and a phone.
Yep.
Like you don't need offices. And I've been preaching that for the last 10 years, right?
Yep.
Now COVID has forced everybody to go into that, but like
100%.
You don't need that. Now, so anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Dude, so how did you transition that to your sons now? So you said you're doing land deals with your 15 and 17-year-old son, which I think is the coolest thing ever. So what did you do to work with them to get that going? How much of it did they do, and kind of what do you guys do there right now?
That's funny. Yeah. There's a meme that I saw a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, of this old executive looking guy, distinguished looking guy, sitting with his arms cross-legged, leaning against a Lamborghini or something like that. And it says on there, if you work really hard and work a lot of overtime and bring in a lot of profit to the company, and then it's ... I'll buy another car like this or something like that. I'll get to buy another car like this.
Yeah.
And I showed that to my boys, and they're all into cars. They want to get a Lamborghini or whatever. And I said, well, do you want to work so hard? Do you want to have a business where you're just buying your boss a luxury car? Or do you want that kind of a car for yourself? And they kind of got the picture. I think that helped a little bit.
Yep.
So it's interesting though with kids, because I don't think they understand the value of money yet, right? Like they don't know what it's like to have bills to pay, have a mortgage, rent, things, those types of things. I'm slowly letting them have more and more responsibilities and things to pay. Yeah. So we're at this point now, we've done 25, 30 deals, and they like the money. Not all of it's been their money. Some of I'm only splitting some profits with them on the deals they work on.
Yep.
But the money's nice, right? But like, they do not like sitting behind a computer all day. Well, so they're doing homeschooling, and they're doing school at home. They don't like spending another 2 or 3 hours in the evening doing homework. They want to play with their friends. They want to just, do anything else but be on the computer some more, right? So now we're at this point where they want the money. They don't want to work. They would rather. One of my sons is a porter who cleans cars at an Audi dealership, and he loves it because he gets to drive and clean. He cleaned these really beautiful cars, and he gets to drive them around, and he loves that. He's only getting $10 an hour. But he's starting to realize, like, oh my gosh, I got to work really hard and to make just this money, and then it's gone every single week, and he's not even doesn't have any bills. So
no,
we're at this point now where they were excited about the money. Yeah, let's make some money. Now they're like, I don't like working behind a computer. Maybe they're spoiled or lazy. I don't know. It's my fault. So we're just like, all right, you go work, go out into the real world, get a real job. And I don't allow them to stay at home and do nothing. When they're at home, we're constantly giving them chores and things to do.
Yep.
But I think I don't know. I think they're going to have to take some time to figure this out. And I don't want to push them to college. I don't want to push them to work or do something they don't want to do.
Yep. I'm
really encouraging them to pray about it. Just what do you feel like God wants you to do?
Yep.
But when it comes to the business side of things, I think they've understood pretty early on that it is a marketing business, and that's all we do. We do marketing for sellers, marketing for buyers. And so they know how to make offers on vacant land deals. They know they're learning how to sell them, but it's been fun. It's cool. Yep. I think it might be a while. They're both seniors in high school, or will be next year. So it might be like they're out into the real world for a couple of years, and then the reality hits them across the head. And they're like, you know what? We need to we want to do our own thing. We want to have our own business. We want to do real estate. And I think that may be the point where they are more willing to work harder.
Well, that's the thing, that they don't have a lot of context right now.
Exactly.
Like you're saying, once they get out there and kind of try some other things, whether it is real estate or not, they'll at least know, I've got a skill set where I can talk to people where it's uncomfortable. I can do some math stuff. Like, this is possible. And like, that's the biggest thing is I absolutely love it when parents show their children the possibilities early. Whether they want to stick with that thing or not, to me, it doesn't matter. It's like you're showing the possibilities to them. So then they're going to be open to more cool stuff as they go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So a couple of topics I want to dive into, Joe. So if we could kind of rapid fire a couple things, we talked about systems. You talked about you using VAs a lot. You're a Carrot user. Let's kind of rapid fire. If someone was to look at Joe McCall's kind of real estate tech stack or tool stack, what tools or systems do you use? Do you have a certain VA company you go to for VAs? Let's kind of start from the start. Marketing, automation, delegation. So on the marketing side, what do you use?
Well, I'm looking at my Carrot membership site now. I have 4 different Carrot sites. Mm-hmm. So Carrot is up there, main company site. I have 2 different land investing websites.
Yep.
And I have a seller's website and a lease option website.
Yep. Dude, the rent to own one has 2,990 or 2,988 leads in it. Nine leads this week. And you guys probably didn't do anything to get those leads.
The rent to own ones. With it. But yeah, it's got great Google juice.
Yep.
Holy smokes. You're right.
It's a lot of leads, man.
Those are buyer leads.
Yep.
And when it comes to lease options, tenant buyers are easy to find.
They are. So what's the tech stack? You've got Carrot.
Oh my gosh.
What else do you use on marketing? Is there certain direct mail houses you use, or kind of what do you use there?
Okay. FreedomSoft, huge FreedomSoft fan. FreedomSoftJoe.com.
Cool.
If you want to check it out. I use FreedomSoft all day, every day. I refer everybody to it. It's amazing. I've looked at all the different CRMs and they just pale in comparison, honestly.
I love it.
To FreedomSoft. Rob Swanson's done just a great job of building it. And so I love FreedomSoft. I'm a big fan of PropStream. PropStream is really amazing. They have great data. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. If you're not going to find a perfect data provider, but PropStream is pretty close. They're very, very good. And for what you get for $97 a month, it's amazing. So I love PropStream. I get a lot of data for free online from sources like Redfin, Zillow. So one of my favorite marketing tools is finding rentals on Zillow and older listings on Redfin.
Okay.
Listings that have been on the market over 30, 60, 90 days. And then contacting the landlords, the realtors, the owners, and just saying, hey, would you be open to selling your rental, or would you consider, if I could get you that price, would you consider maybe owner financing or lease purchase or something? So I've got to include sites like Redfin and Zillow in my tech stack because I download data or scrape data all the time from those sites. The other thing is big Evernote user, Slack for my internal team. Slack is amazing.
Cool. Dude, on the VA side, do you have a certain company you go back to for that, or what do you do on there? Because I know there's a lot of them. There's Rocket Station, there's other ones too, but
there's a lot of good companies out there. Tracy Kaywood is a company that I referred a lot of my students to. She has a company called Property Mob.
Okay. Yep.
She's a wholesaler out of Florida. She's got a virtual assistant company, and she does a good job training them on the wholesaling side of things. So, and she has VAs that are trained in FreedomSoft. So
cool.
I refer a lot of people to her if you want a good just data admin virtual assistant. For us, we typically when we want a VA, we want them for one specific task. So for our cold calling, over the years, we found 1 or 2 really good people for cold calling, outbound cold calls from the Philippines.
Yep.
And the best sources for new hires are just referrals from them. So we ask them, hey, do you have any friends or family or know anybody? And we pay them a little bump in commissions so they get us good people. And that's been our favorite source of getting new hires. But how we found those 1 or 2 VAs is we went to Upwork and we said, hey, we're looking for somebody to do outbound calls. We use Mojo Sells as one of our outbound calling tools. We're also starting to use FreedomSoft more for our outbound cold calls. But We said, you have to have Mojo Sells experience. Mojo Sells is a software. And we got a ton of people that applied. We hired 4 or 5 of them, gave them leads, and found the one that was the best. And I do that constantly. I wanted my own technical support for FreedomSoft for my students. So I actually hired my own VA to support FreedomSoft for my customers. And he's amazing. What I did is I posted a job, I hired 5 people, and I found the one that could do it the best, the fastest, and who was really nice. And then I fired everybody else, and I kept him on full time, gave him a bump in pay, and the guy's amazing. He's been working with us for 2 or 3 years now.
Cool.
So Upwork is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, and so I want to review that. You've got the MAD acronym, marketing, automation, delegation. We talked about some of the resources Joe uses for that. Dude, for the last few minutes here, we've talked about real estate the whole time. And what you mentioned at the beginning is you love education, you love teaching. And I know for me, and I've not been shy about it on the podcast. I use real estate for long-term wealth building. I personally use Carrot for my Airbnbs, for my rental properties, to get tenants, to get leads for them every single week. And then with Adrian on my team, we're doing 4 flips right now. All those leads came from Carrot in North Carolina. Wow. And so we use the tool, but the thing I'm passionate about is exactly what you're talking about, man. Like I want to hop on the podcast and inspire people. I want to help people build businesses that light them up. So Joe, your active day-to-day is education. That's what you love. You make money in real estate, you teach real estate, but the day-to-day is education. How did you make that shift? How did you make the shift from running the business to something that was interesting and it made you money to something that was you were passionate about?
Well, let's be honest. Selling information, products, coaching, it's much easier to scale.
Yep.
Right. It's much easier to scale. I can have a big impact on a lot of people. Yep. I can create podcasts and videos and books and blog posts and stuff like that. Instagram, I'm not big on that, but like, you can post something on Instagram and 10,000 people watch it in a couple of minutes, right? Yep. So when it comes to the publishing space, creating content and selling it and teaching it, it's much more scalable and it's easier to do virtually.
Yep.
Right. Like I run my entire business from this laptop that's right here, and I have this fancy studio that kind of in my office. I don't know if it's fancy or not, but I got some lights.
Looks awesome, man.
Yeah. DSLR camera that makes the background fuzzy. And I don't know how it does that, but so anyways, it's like you kind of grow into that. It's interesting. Let me just say a couple of things about this, because sometimes people get critical of guys who make money selling courses and products.
Yep.
But here's the thing. I thank God for the Carlton Sheets, the Russ Whitneys, the Ron LeGrand's, who's
Chris
that guy?
Chico, man. Chris Chico.
Chris Chico. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Here's the thing. I wouldn't be here today without Chris Chico.
Yep.
Right. If he wasn't willing to put together a course and sell it for $497, like I would not be here. Now, there's tons of free content out there, but here's the problem with that. When you go out there, who's that guy who wrote Nothing Down? I have a book here. He's famous from the 80s. Nothing Down.
Robert Allen.
Yep. He has this book I got called Nothing Down, completely revised for the 80s. I'm not kidding. I got this old book. And I fished through it, man. And that almost 99% of the stuff in there still applies today.
Yep.
Except you maybe don't do classified ads anymore. But Robert Allen said something. He said, I've made my millions doing real estate. I've made my hundreds of millions teaching people how to do real estate. And so let's be honest here. You can make more money doing that, but you still need to be in the game. I'm still doing deals, not just not as many as I used to.
Yep.
Like, you look at Bill Belichick, the best coach football has ever seen, probably, right? How much football does he play today?
None.
How much does he get paid playing football?
He studies the heck out of it, man. He surrounds himself with the right players, the right coaches, studies the heck out of it and scales out the results. Yeah. Yeah.
Tom Brady cannot play football forever. He's probably going to start doing announcing or coaching later on, or maybe not.
Yep.
So you could go on and on like that. I mean, everybody needs a coach. And so sometimes you go out and you get free information. You'd be like, oh man, why are you selling this stuff? You should just give it away for free. Or why should someone pay you money for this stuff when they can just go to certain other websites or YouTube and just get it all for free? Here's the problem with that. if you go on one of these websites or forums or Facebook groups and just say, how do I do this? You're going to get 20 different answers. And then you're going to get 20 different people that say, that's stupid. Don't do that. That's illegal, immoral, and fattening. And you need to do it this way. And so you get all these different opinions. It's just super loud and obnoxious, and it's very confusing. But you can buy a real good course and say, all right, I'm going to ignore everything else. I'm just going to do what this guy says to do. If he's a good person, you just do everything he says to do. And guess what? You're going to do deals. Yep. So I thank God for those guys that were willing to create a course. I don't care how much money they made, right? I'm looking at down there on my shelf one of my first coaching programs that I paid $13,000 for on a credit card back in 2006, right?
Yep.
I didn't make, you know how much money I made from that thing? Zero. You know why? Because this knucklehead didn't do anything they told me to do.
Yep.
I remember sitting down with my wife. The salesman was slick, man. In fact, you know who? Well, I won't tell you who it was. I still talk to the guy. I know who he is today. But he was slick, and he's like, man. And so both my wife and me, hook, line, and sinker, we're in. Max out the credit card. Let's do it. I'm going to make this money back in 6 months. Didn't do anything with it, right? But whose fault was that? Yep. It was mine. And I keep it there to remind me of the importance of taking massive action. So, and I looked through the course today, and it's not the best thing. I probably would have done better, but if I would have done what they told me to do, I would have done deals. I would have made my money back in 6 months. So I thank God for those guys that are willing to create a course, put it out there. And, so people that complain about that and throw stones at the gurus, or who say, I'm not a guru, I'm a duru. Like, whatever.
Who eventually are going to sell their stuff anyway, right? It's like that. That's something. I've been in this long enough that I've seen the waves of people who come in and go, I'm going to give everything away for free, which that's how I started too. I literally looked at all the courses, all the stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to give even better stuff for free. This is way before Carrot. And I did, I thought, but then you hit a point to where you go, oh shoot, I have to now somehow make a return on my money in order to continue investing into this and having the impact I want to have. And so then you go, well, how do I create something that adds value and that is a good exchange of value back and forth? And I could talk on this topic all day long, Joe. It's such a mindset thing. The very first course that I ever bought, I remember it. This is back in 2007. It probably was. And I was on a teleseminar. This is back when like Telman Knutson was the thing, man. And it was a Sean Casey, Telman Knutson teleseminar. And I thought it was live. It wasn't live. Looking back, it was automated. So I'm on this call, and they were selling Sean Casey's like Mining for Internet Gold ebook. That was $50. It was a long time ago. And they taught a bunch of really good stuff on that teleseminar. I'm sitting there listening to it in the apartment up in Portland. My wife was there. And I'm like, babe, I've got to go for this teleseminar. It was recorded. And I bought the thing. And I opened it up, and I'm like, I haven't really made any money online yet, or maybe made a few bucks from Google AdSense or something like that, but nothing real. And I had real estate at that time. I bought my first fourplex when I was 21 from Carlton Sheets' course, literally. I've heard so many people trashing his course, the $500 no money down course. Dude,
I know.
Course, that course is what I followed to buy a property with no money down, a 4-unit building. And when I was 21 years old with no credit, it was that darn course. Was it the best ever? No. Did I answer everything? No, but I answered enough. And so I bought the $50 ebook, Mining for Internet Gold. I opened it up, and it was all very basic stuff. It was like, buy a domain name, go do this. It was all very basic stuff. I'm like, man, I was disappointed in the moment, but mindset struck in there and said, okay, what can I learn from this process? The purchase process I just went through. Is there anything I can learn from that?
Let me ask you something about this, Trevor.
Yeah.
Step one is buy a domain. Did you already have one?
I don't remember at that time, honestly. I did.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Most people, when they read that, think, oh man, I already knew that. And they're disappointed, they're bummed. But then, stop. Did you go ahead and do you have a domain already? Did you already do that?
Dude, so in that instance, I did. But then as I got through the course, it's the stuff that you'll hear coming up. It's like, I know most of it in there, but half of it, if not more than half, I didn't execute. I got the domain, but I didn't do the other things. And I was thinking about refunding it because I was disappointed in it. It's the only course I've ever thought about refunding ever in my life. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to refund this because I'm going to learn from it. There's something in here that I can find of value. Even if it's not on the pages, I can read between the lines. I can see how their marketing is. I can see how their post-sale process was. I'm going to learn from it. I'll chalk this one up to the internet gods. I'm going to take it and then add more value and get more value out of the other things. And so that's the way I've always looked at it. I've never refunded ever in my life anything that I bought training-wise ever since. And I always take it upon my responsibility to say, okay, I learned something from this. And I can tell people when I really started investing in my own education and masterminds and creating the mastermind that we have that we're a part of now, that's when I started to scale and really grow. I joined Russell Brunson's mastermind at the recommendation of you, and you referred me to the group. That's $25,000 a year, dude. Multiple seven figures came out of that. I spend over $100,000 a year right now in coaching. $100,000 a year in coaching, guys. Multiple seven figures in growth. So you have to invest into that access, and it helps you.
And people say, well, you should just be free then, right? Well, yeah, but people who pay attention. Mm-hmm. And I give a lot of stuff away for free. I'm podcasting YouTube videos. I give a ton of it away.
Yep.
But it's all out there. I have 1,004 podcast episodes. I've been doing it for 10 years.
Yep.
I have hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos out there, right? But like, if you want a place where it's just one stop, I get it all here in an organized fashion with all of the contracts, the checklists, the marketing pieces, all of it in just one easy to figure out place. Yeah, I'm going to sell that, right? I'm going to charge a premium for that. And I have stuff that ranges from $7 to $1,500 to a $10,000 coaching program, group coaching program. So it's like, I believe you get what you invest out of it, and there are guys who have never bought any education who are doing deals today, which is awesome.
Yep.
But here's the thing. People have no problem spending $30,000, $50,000 a year on college education and getting into $200,000 in college debt.
Yeah. And then getting
they have a tissy fit and their panties get in a wad when they're going to spend $1,500 on a real estate education course that's going to teach them how to make $200,000 or $300,000 a year. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But so yeah, there are people out there that are selling crap, but there are way more good guys teaching and selling this stuff than there are bad guys. So, dude, yeah. Here's the thing. 100%. I want to tell you guys something, and I don't want to say this to brag, but I am going to brag a little bit. Can I brag on myself?
Dude, you can brag, Joe. Go for it, man.
I'm a little embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Trevor, go to joemccall.com/tank.
Okay.
We just built this. It's not done yet, but joemccall.com/tank.
Tank, like TANK.
Yeah. And start scrolling.
Oh, there we go. Gotcha.
Start scrolling.
So many here. Oh, so guys and gals, I went over there. Dude, the funny thing is we're going to be adjusting our stories page on our sales site to something like this because we have thousands of testimonials. We hardly share them. So guys, I'm on that page. I mean, I don't know how many videos are on here, probably 500, I'm guessing.
These are real testimonies. I didn't buy these on Fiverr.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't buy them on Fiverr. But and if you Google Joe McCall reviews, you'll see a Joe McCall reviews. There's a page from Sotellus right next to the Bigger Pockets article. Joe McCall's is a scam? ? Right below that is my Sotellus page. And I have an average of 4.9 out of 5-star reviews from 284 people. And you start scrolling down and it just does not stop.
Yeah.
It keeps on popping. So here's my point in all of this. Look people up. Okay. And you can find a lot of information just by Googling people. Take everything that you see with a grain of salt.
Yep.
You're going to see people complaining about, people complain all the time about Disney, right? You can find people complaining about Disney online, but listen to the reviews, look for them, look at them yourself, and talk to people who are actually, who have bought this stuff and taken the courses and see what they think of it. And there's a lot of good people out there, and I get kind of my feathers get ruffled a little bit when I hear people complaining about gurus and how evil they are. And, Listen, we put a lot of time and resources into giving the best education possible. And I have the testimonials to prove it, literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of testimonials from people. And I didn't, these aren't Fiverr reviews. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, and I want to tie this into a bone, relate it to people running a real estate business, right? Because if you're an agent or an investor, studies have shown for decades that one of the top 5 least trusted professions are real estate agents. Our real estate investors aren't in there because they just weren't, they weren't as well known, but I think they probably would be or should be. And so you guys are in the same bucket here, is exactly what Joe's talking about. Let's take that as a marketing lesson as well. And if you see how he's really positioned himself online, how he's made sure to get amazing testimonials about his services online, when you Google search his name, just like we talked about, just like we always educate you guys as investors and agents to do, that your clients are going to Google search the name. How can you use a service like Sotellus? How can you use a service like your Carrot website, or in his case, his joemccall.com site, to build that credibility to really push people over the edge? So it's a marketing principle, guys, especially in an industry where it's a low trust industry. We have to step out there and say, well, yeah, there are some people in our industry who aren't doing the right thing as investors or agents, but let me bring forward the massive history and track record I have with all my clients. And Joe's one of the best out there, big time. Well, Joe,
thanks, man.
Dude, for sure, man. Well, I appreciate you big time. And I'm excited to hopefully see you here in a couple of weeks over in Charleston at the Amplify Mastermind with Patrick, myself, and the other crew. And guys and gals, if you're looking to gain more freedom in your business, like we talked, you can start the business and you get the things going and learn how all the processes work, but then take that vision Joe talked about and build your business towards the vision. Pull yourself out of the business if that's what you want to do, and then use the rest of that time once you have freedom to make the impact you want to make, exactly how Joe has. So Joe, where can people follow you, find you, and also work with you? I highly recommend Joe and all of his training and content.
Thank you, man. A few different areas. Like if you want this book I was talking about, WLObook.com.
Yep.
It's free, just pay shipping and handling. And it's like $7 shipping and handling, I think. And then I have a podcast, Real Estate Investing Mastery. I've been doing that for 10 years this June. So in a couple months, 10 years, I got over 1,000 episodes, which has been crazy. It's blowing me away. My goal is to be the longest running real estate investing podcast. And I got 2 or 3 guys ahead of me. I'm just waiting for them to get old and die. I'm just kidding. That's horrible. I'm friends with all of them. I'm sorry I said that. But I want to have the longest real estate investing podcast, right? And so one more thing, I did just launch a brand new program. It's called Partner with Joe, partnerwithjoe.net.
Yep.
And $7. I put together this really good course teaching people how to get their first check in real estate as fast as possible.
Cool.
And if you go to partnerwithjoe.net, you'll have an opportunity there to get or download a calculator that I use to make cash offers. And it's really cool. It helps you figure out the ARV, the after repair value of the house. It helps you estimate repairs. And then it puts together this proposal that you can actually send to sellers. It's a cover letter, a 1-page contract, and then a couple pages of why they should sell their house to you. It's a really cool 4-page packet proposal that makes you look professional, makes you look cool, and you can send it out. So that's completely free if you go to partnerwithjoe.net. And then after you download that or see, there's a little 10, 15-minute video explains to you what the $7 program is. And you can sign up for that at partnerwithjoe.net. That's my new thing I'm super excited about. I'm actually looking forward to sharing it with you guys at this Amplify Mastermind.
I love it.
Because I'm excited about it.
Dude. Well, partnerwithjoe.net, guys, go check it out. Go get the wholesaling lease option book, WLObook.com. And Joe, man, I'm just grateful for you. I love the light that you put out there in the world, and you're consistent. You're not here to get here today, gone tomorrow. You've been, like you said, in the podcast world for 10 years and strong. And I'm so grateful you're part of the Carrot community too. Like I said, you're one of the first probably several hundred members. And I'm so pumped that you continue to thrive in this industry and help other people do the same. So thank you for joining us.
I'm proud to call you a friend, Trevor.
Likewise,
I love what you're doing at Carrot. Man, you guys are awesome. Awesome. I know a lot of the people that work for you, and they all admire you and respect you. You run a great operation there. Good for you, man.
Joe, I appreciate it big time. Guys and gals, go follow Joe, find him online, go to partnerwithjoe.net. And if you guys love this episode, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify. I don't think you do reviews of Spotify, but Apple Podcasts, give us a rating review, and make sure to let us know how we can make these episodes even better. Go check out the full archives, the previous episode from Joe, where he dives deeper and deeper into wholesaling lease options. The other episode, we'll link it up in the show notes. You guys have an amazing rest of the week. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.